Hey everybody, it's Nicole Gebhardt, and I am so excited. You know, what's cool about what I do is I get to work with pretty remarkable people, and then they become friends. So I can't wait to introduce you now to my friend, Butch Nieves. Hi, Butch. Thanks for joining us.
Hey Nicole, what's going on? This is great.
This is fun. So Butch and I actually just spent 1 hour together working on his book and business strategy and where we're going next with the next phases of it. So we've been together for a while. So we're going to backtrack and bring you guys into this conversation. We're going to go back to the beginning and talk about Butch, your book, and how quickly you've come to where you've come since we started working. So you and I started working together on August 24th. So we just checked that date. You want to tell people a little bit about, first, let's start with your business, who you are, your background, the titles that you've earned, and let's wow them a little bit.
All right, let's wow. Let's see what we got. Well,
Yeah.
I currently own a New York Fit Body Boot Camp, personal training studio as well. We do private, personal, one-to-one training. We do small group training, and of course, the large groups, 20 to 30 people at a time. It's relatively a small facility, about 2,000 square feet, but we make the best use of it. I've been in the industry now, actually in the business 30 years. I've been a personal trainer for 35 years.
Mm-hmm.
During that time, I've also been able to, well, I've won Mr. America, Mr. USA, National Bodybuilding Championship, and I've represented the United States in the Mr. Universe and Mr. World and placed in the top four each time I've competed. So that was pretty cool. I've competed in powerlifting events, never defeated in powerlifting, so I remain undefeated. And I'm also the East Coast submission fighting champion with Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, that kind of stuff. So it's been, been quite a ride. And my body could tell you all the different things too.
What's funny is is if I've gotten to know you, right? So this is I'm gonna go ahead and wow people at the cover of your book right here, and those guns, right? So, but you are one of the nicest, sweetest gentlemen ever, which is such fun for your character. I think, in fact, the book cover it really kind of reflects that in your smile, and that's what I like it. But I did not know you were still the world record holder on what'd you say, powerlifting?
Not the record holder, but I was
Oh my
never
God.
beaten in
Oh,
powerlifting competition.
that's
So
really.
yeah, let's not start any trouble.
Oh, okay. Still kick my butt. All right. So really cool. So you've had your gym, you've had your business for 30 years. You have built up quite, the sign behind you says the empire, right? But you had this brand and you had a dream always to publish a book, right? So tell us a little bit about the book that you've created here. Train hard, train smart, have fun. You want to talk about your book and what your dream was for the book?
Well, the book is really, I mean, there's a lot of fitness products on the market today. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of books on the market today, and everybody kind of praises one specific system, one specific diet, one specific thing. And in reality, I don't think there's one thing that you can say this is what works and this is what doesn't work. It all depends on the people's personalities and what they've gone through in their life and where they are in their life and what their goals are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is what this book understands. This book tells you about, it's really about self-improvement, is about a little bit of accountability and being truthful with yourself. So I think that's the really core values that the book talks about. And it's what you need to understand if you want to get in shape. Because, example for yourself, you're not looking to become a bodybuilder. I was at that time. Now I'm not looking to bodybuild at all. I'm looking to stay pain-free and healthy. So your goals change as you change. And I think you can't use one method throughout the entire life. I don't think that's going to work.
So what I like about the book is you drive home this message that there's one muscle in particular you need to work on. You want to talk about that? Because that's just the coolest part of your book.
Yeah, well, it really came. I remember the first time I was competing in England, and I was being interviewed by the media there. And at the time, I was known. I had a really, pretty big set of legs, and they're pretty well developed. And they said, you're pretty known for your legs, but what do you think is your best body part? And I just stopped and I kind of thought about it, and I said to myself, it's my heart. I said, my heart has to be the best body part because, if you don't have heart for this, you'll give up, you'll quit when times get tough, and we all have tough times.
Mm-hmm.
Not every day you wake up and you're raring to go and everything's perfect. Sometimes it's not your day, but you got to push through it. And I think that at that point when I made that realization that, hey, you got to have the heart for this. You got to have the heart for business. You got to have the heart for your family. Not everybody's going to get along every single day. And that's the most important thing. And I started translating that to my clients, and I would ask them, so what do you think your best body part is? And one girl would say, my shoulders, my arm. And I say, it was your heart. And you see the tears come down right away. So it's an amazing thing.
But what I love about that is that summarized the whole book, and I'm not going to open it and show the insides. I'm not going to give away. We're going to talk about a couple things you did, but those of you who are watching this interview, you need to grab this book. It's loaded with really cool ideas and features. So the link to do that is right next to us. But the biggest thing that I like is the whole book is centered around that theme, right? That you encourage, we talked about this, you inspire, you encourage, and you equip your readers in the book to go after any one of their goals. The primary focus of the book is fitness, of course, but as you know, as I'm reading it and as our editors are reading it, it just really has you evaluate everything that you're doing in life, and that's what I think is so strong about the book. What kind of feedback are you getting from your readers on that?
Oh, the same thing. Everybody has a different takeaway from the book, which is really great. I'll get a shout out every once in a while on social media and say, "Hey, this was revolutionary for me," or "This really, meant something to me," or "That really sparked some interest in me," or "That made me do this." And that's, for me, that's the greatest thing, is when somebody, shouts out and say, "I'm doing this now because I read it in the book," and I think that's amazing. I love that.
And you and I have an inside joke, and you posted on Facebook. Is it chapter 9? Is that
Oh, yeah, chapter 9. That's seems to be by far the most famous chapter of the entire book.
It's a really cool story, and you weren't even sure if you should put it in there.
I wasn't sure because it's almost unbelievable. You questioned the story. You're like, "Is that really true?" And I said, "Absolutely, is it true?"
So it's really cool. We're going to tell people you got to go get it, read chapter 9, and then you can redo a little research on the Facebook post because you tagged me in the Facebook post that goes with it. So that's all we're going to say.
And you got to see chapter 9, right?
I did see chapter 9. So I love that we've just totally intrigued everybody. Go get the book. It's a fun read. It's no matter what your goals are. I just love the book because it really is a good kick in the butt. But you've done it in such a loving way. It is not the typical, what you would expect out of a fitness book, go after your goals, right? It really does encourage from the heart. So I like that.
I think people have to give you specific things to do. Everybody says, you can do this. You have to stay motivated. Well, how do you stay motivated? Mm-hmm. How can you do this? You need some specific actions that you need to take to do these things. And I think the book provides that. Unfortunately, most motivational people just say, just stay motivated. Duh. Okay, how do we do that? Yeah. So I think the book will give you some good insights on how to do that. At least from the 35 years that I've been doing it, this is what I've accumulated and put into the book.
Yeah, it's one of those books you really could read, a couple times a year and go, oh yeah, all right, needed that kick in the butt, right? For the people that don't get a coach with you. So that was the big thing. I mean, you really, once you read that book, understand why the people that coach with you love you, and you can see that in your community. So not only get the book, go check out Butch's Facebook page. And you'll see that you have just a really strong and loyal fan base, which is really cool. We did something else neat in the book, which is something I'd wanted to do for a while, and we did it inside of your book, which was the memes, so the inspirational quotes that we put out throughout the book. You want to talk about those and what you ended up doing with all of them?
Well, I have all these bunch of these little sayings that we always say in the studio and in the gym, and they always said you have to do something with it. You have to do something, and of course, I'm writing them in the book. I'm put them in because these are something that comes out of my mouth all the times, and some people have, of course they've helped me with them and we brought them together, but the sayings were just a good reminder and a quick message. I mean, even the title of the book, Train Hard, Train Smart, Have Fun, that's something we say all the time. You got to train hard, but you got to train smart, and not to give too much away of the book, but we know that old saying, no pain, no gain, ends with no brain. Mm-hmm. Train hard, but train smart. And that's where the whole title kind of came from. But you want to have some fun with it. You want to have some kind of enjoyment. So we, in the studio, we actually put them on some canvases and mounted them on the frames because you produced some really elegant images for me. So they were really, really great. So we've actually decorated the studio now. And now I just walk around the gym and I just point to the frame.
Yeah. Number 5.
Right,
Chapter 4.
Yeah, right. And they do the same thing to me, though. If I have a bad idea, like, hey, Butch, over there. I'm like, okay, I got you. So I get it thrown right back at me, which is great. I love it. It's good stuff.
So from a strategy standpoint, that's really cool that we took your favorite quotes, the ones you use all the time. So we put them as graphics before every chapter. Mm-hmm. And then you've got them on a resource page that people can download on Facebook, or I'm sorry, on your website, right? So they can use them, then get them as a screensaver for the background of their smartphone if they want, and do whatever they want with them. And then they also gave you great Facebook and social media fodder, right? So
it gives me a lot of social awareness. It drives traffic to my website. It drives traffic to my Facebook page and my Instagram pages. It's really helped out a lot, and people share them all the time.
Hmm.
So it's really good. It created a kind of its own viral effect somewhat in my own community. So I love it. I think it was a great thing that you guys came up with that and helped me with that. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
And the next thing we were just talking about, we're going to put him out on Pinterest and get him going over there too. So just
Mhm.
again, just creating, and people love inspirational quotes. So just creating the viral awareness, driving traffic back to your website, getting awareness for your book, all part of the strategy. Okay, so what did I want to talk to you about? Let's talk about what you did for your launch, because you had a really great launch. Bestseller status, right?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Right.
So
I tell my wife, says, "Oh, this is my husband. He's an author." I'm like, "Hold on, I'm a best-selling author. Let's make a difference here.
yeah.
So it's pretty funny.
So best-selling author. Then we came out and you did the print book, and you had a couple of big events that happened. You want to talk about your 30th anniversary?
Well, we launched the book with my 30-year anniversary for my business. I've been in business since 1987. October 3rd was my official grand opening date for my first gym. And we've been in the business for over 30 years. So we correlate that with the opening of the book to really just say, hey, those 30 years are in this book.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to know about business, because there's a little bit about business in there as well. There's a little bit about fitness, and there's a lot about heart. So it's all in the book, and it all comes together. And I listen. Not to plug my own book, but I think it's a great read. It's an actual read. I tell people I wrote this book from my heart, and it's what I truly believe. It's not what I really liked about working with you specifically was that the book had to be true, and it was told from my heart. There was no real marketing strategy with the words. The
Right.
words are from me, and one of the biggest compliments I get is when somebody reads a book, is, "Man, I really can tell you wrote that book."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Yeah, I wrote that book." They said, "Nobody wrote that book for you." I said, "No, I really did." So it's it's an honest publication, and that's what I really love about it.
So I don't know if you remember this story or not, but we had given the first chapter to the editor. So one of the things we do in our process is we try to link up our client with the editor early on, just so they can kind of get introduced to each other. One of the scariest things, I just realized my phone's not on vibrate here. One of the scariest things for writers, which surprised me when I got into this, is that feedback from the editor, the first feedback. So what we try to do is send the first 1,000 words to the editor, kind of break that hurdle, break that ice, get everybody working together so it's not so scary moving forward. So I sent the first 1,000 words of your book to our editor, and the editor picks up the phone and leaves me a message. She said, "This guy sounds like he's a bodybuilder from the Bronx. Do you want me?" And she hadn't gone to your website. It just hadn't occurred to us in the process to send her to your website. And I'm going, "That's exactly who he is." And she was asking, "Should I take that out?" And I'm like, "No, that's exactly who he is." So
That's who I am. It's who
yeah.
I am, and I don't try to be anybody else. It's what I am. So
I think that is what is important to what we do, and I hammer that with our editors all the time. No, I want the author's voice. Nobody expects you to be the perfect writer. What they want is the real Butch Nieves and reading your book. So we did that, and that's definitely what comes through. So, okay, so 30th anniversary. So you had a big party. You want to talk about your party and what all happened there?
Yeah, we celebrate a party at my studio. I pull up the floor because we have mats on the floor. We pull them to the side, and we have some champagne. We had official book signing. And I thought a few people would show up, but oh my Lord, there's so many people who kept on showing up. At one point, I set up a little table and I said, "I'll have 4 or 5 books there, and I'll just sign some books." And I was literally signing books for over 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And they had brought a cake. In one of the previews, there was a cake there. I said, "I really want to try out the cake." It was gone. I didn't get a chance.
Funny.
It was totally gone. All the food was totally gone. I was like, at the end of the day, my wife was like, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I want to go eat. I'm starving."
Uh-huh.
I was there signing books, and it was a great night. A lot of old friends came by. People that I didn't even know came by that had purchased the book, and just to get to know them. And they tell me the biggest takeaway that I had from that night was, I get emotional too, but they would tell me their stories and say, "Oh, when you said this to me, this is what happened, and this is what created this change in me, and this would create that change." That was really empowering. It was really great to hear that.
Neat. And so what was the most surprising thing from the book itself? What's been the most surprising aspect of the whole thing?
Um, well, I think personally, I mean, besides the business, personally, it was such a huge sense of accomplishment for me.
Hmm.
I just felt like, wow, I actually did that. I didn't, I thought about it for years, and until Dan Ritchie referred me to you, it never became a reality. And I didn't even know. And you talk about that first time the editor wrote read the first 1,000 pages. I was so nervous. I was so scared. I was like, oh my God, they're gonna say, listen, you're wasting your time. Forget about it. Take your waste. And you're just a musclehead, and let's leave it there. So I was nervous, but it had such a sense of accomplishment. And it was really, really cool. And and the fact that it was able to help a few people, it's such a win-win situation. People were coming to me in the street. I mean, just the other day, I ran across the street, and there's a flower shop across the street, and I never really talked to anybody that's in there. They're always really busy in the flower shop. Girl comes running out. I read your book. I read your book. It's fantastic. And I was like, hey,
Oh,
nice
how
to meet
sweet.
you. And that's the first time I ever spoke to her. So it's a great feeling. It's really a great feeling to know that you help some people, and it's a great sense of accomplishment. It really is.
And you did a remarkable job. So our first phone call was on April 24th.
Yeah.
And you had the book written and done by August 24th. And we celebrated your 30th anniversary and 500 copies of the book delivered to your door on October 3rd. So, again, just amazing. It's not even,
Well,
6 months later?
honestly, you scared me. I had to write these chapters. You would tell me, you better have this done and this done, this done, and I didn't want to let you down. Dan referred me, and I was like, I don't want to be that one client that doesn't do what she tells me to do. And I think part of being successful in anything, you have to be a good student. I had an amazing coach when I was training for all my titles. And I tell my clients, you have to be a good student. You have to learn. So I wanted to be a good student, and I did exactly what you tell me. You wanted 2 chapters. I made sure, hey, I got to focus on that. And that's what was great working with you, was that the accountability
Hmm.
was huge for me, because as your own business owner, you don't have that much accountability, only really to
Yeah.
yourself. And sometimes you can say to your customers, but realistically, you can say, hey, I'll blow it off till tomorrow. And I did that with the book for over a year. I'll
Yeah.
do it tomorrow. I'll write in tomorrow. Now I'm like, well, I have a meeting with her on Thursday, and she's expecting to read 2 chapters. I better get this done. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
said, leave me alone. And it also, the other thing that I had a problem with was distraction. I get distracted easily, and in
Uh-huh.
today's world with the phones and all these different things, there's so much distraction. So I knew when I had a meeting with you, I put everything away. I got all distracted. I went to a place where nobody can get a hold of me, and I focused on the book, and that was a huge thing for me to be able to get it done in this short a time. So I
Wow.
think fear had a little bit to do with it. I didn't want to let you down.
So yeah, you're literally just over 6 months later. You're already a best-selling author. The book's out there. You've got copies all around the community. I don't know if it came out earlier. You're in the Bronx, actually. You said, and I know you specifically said New York earlier, but you're actually in the Bronx. You've got copies distributed around your community. Um, and the really cool Facebook video. I need to put this. I'm trying to figure out where I want to drive them. You did a Facebook video. I want to talk about your little video that you did just recently and how you did it, because we didn't even get to this yet, and you just went out and created
Well,
it.
I went on Fiverr.com,
Uh-huh.
and they have all these different videos that you can use and put in information. It cost me all of $20. It took 24 hours to have it made, and it was really simple and easy. Just a matter of just putting the right words in there and getting the right image, and it was really simple. As you know, I'm not a techie kind of guy.
Yeah.
I'm not techie at all. So I'm the kind of the sledgehammer in the china shop kind of guy. And they made it real easy for me, and it was simple and it's effective, and I think it's under a minute, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
maybe a minute, so it gets the point across, and I think it's really, really cool. I think anybody can do that, really simple.
So here's what we'll do. I will put that video. I'm going to replace it with a photo that I've got down there. So I'll put it below this video so people can go see it. Because $20 on Amazon or on Fiverr.com, which is Fiverr.com for those who are listening. Really cool. People do all kinds of things for $5, $20.
Yeah.
around the
I,
world.
I
So
made another video for some extra sessions that we were adding to our boot camp, and it was a hit. It was huge. And again, it's they range from $5 to $20, $30. It's a win-win situation for a busy business owner for sure.
yeah, it's Pinterest for the business owners. What I tell people, you can get stuck in there just finding all kinds of cool things people do. They'll do fake tattoos on their body for your logo. It's kind of a crazy sight, but I love it. Okay, so parting words of advice. What about people that are still thinking about their book, right? You want to give your train hard, train smart advice for people that are struggling with this?
I mean, it's easy to say just go ahead and do it. But the key is if you don't take action now, 6 months down the road, the time is going to pass by no matter what you do. I could say this to you. I've accomplished a few things in my life. Winning all these different titles and all these different things that required a lot of discipline, a lot of sacrifice, and parts of my life. I mean, even physical damage. My body's been beat up a little bit, but nothing has given me that kind of satisfaction that writing this book has given me. It's filled a hole somewhere in there that's just phenomenal. When I won a lot of people don't know this. You don't even know this, but when I won Mr. America, I was sitting in a hotel room by myself. Wow. I had no one to share it with. Now I write this book and I'm sharing it with everybody. And it just feels so much more powerful. It feels so much better. I'm helping so many people. Yeah, I won this trophy. I took the trophy home and the story. That's it. Now, my friends got to brag. My training partner got to brag. Oh, I trained with Mr. America. Hey, that's a great accolade. I had to study hard. I had to learn a lot of things to win the Mr. America. But this book has helped so many other people. Wow. And I think that's what's so much more powerful. So I would say, just imagine how many people you can help by writing your book. Don't be selfish and not do that. Help those people that you can, and just write from your heart.
That's cool. We could talk about more things, but I want to end it with that because that's what it really boils down to. There are people out there that need what people have to offer, what other people have to offer, the experiences, the stories. And the best way, in my opinion, is to share it in a book where you can get that person to sit down and quietly and, in their comfy chair, grab a drink and read your message uninterrupted is just the greatest gift you can give somebody. And you give lots of people that through a book. So
somebody's life empowers them. It's a powerful thing.
Yeah, it's cool. All right. Thank you so much. And we have big things coming for you now. We're going to keep extending Butch's strategy, working on getting him more visibility, more book sales, getting him out in the community, growing his business, and looking at different business models. But we're not going to talk about that in this video. So maybe, who knows, in a year from now, we'll have you back on. We'll talk about where things have gone from here. So it's been fun, Butch, as always, to spend time with you. So thank you for joining us. We will sign off with that. Thanks again, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. All right, guys. Bye-bye.